My grandparents ignored me to spoil my golden child cousin, so I watched them lose their house and permanently erase them from my life. I'm 31. I have a career, an apartment, and a life they know absolutely nothing about. That part was deliberate. When I was 6, my cousin Reece moved in. His parents had lost custody. My grandparents explained he needed stability and love. I nodded because I was 6 and didn't understand that stability had a budget and love had a limit. The shift was gradual enough that I almost didn't notice. Almost. My grandmother cooked Reece's favorites without being asked. When I made a request she'd say we just had that. My school awards went into a drawer. Reece's first passing grade went onto the refrigerator with a magnet shaped like a star. I made the honor roll every semester for 4 years straight. My grandfather shook my hand once. Reece got a dirt bike for his 14th birthday because he'd had a hard year. I bought my own school supplies at 13 with babysitting money because the budget was tight. When I was 15 I ran a regional science competition and placed second in the state. My grandparents missed it. Reece had been suspended and somebody needed to be home with him. I took the bus back alone with my ribbon in my backpack and didn't tell anyone where I'd placed. When I asked my grandmother why Reece always came first she looked at me with genuine softness and said, "You're capable. You don't need what he needs." That's a compliment, sweetheart. I stopped asking after that. Senior year I earned a full merit scholarship to a university 6 hours away. My grandparents took me to dinner. Halfway through the meal my grandmother set down her fork and said quietly, "Reece is going to struggle without you here. You've always been his anchor." Something behind my sternum went completely flat. "Who's been my anchor?" I asked. She looked confused. Actually confused. Like the question was in a language she didn't recognize. I moved out the week after graduation. Didn't come back for the holidays. My grandmother called twice, both times to tell me Reece was having a hard time and my absence wasn't helping. I told her I'd been having a hard time for a decade and hung up. I worked through college, graduated early, built a career in project management, got promoted twice, bought my own place. I sent a card when I got my first promotion. They didn't respond. 5 years of silence. Entire chapters of my life they never knew existed. Then 8 months ago my grandmother appeared at my workplace lobby, smaller than I remembered. She sat across from me and folded her hands and said they needed to discuss the future. Reece was 32, hadn't maintained steady work in 4 years, still living at home. Their savings were nearly gone from supporting him through every gap. "We need you to take over," she said. "When we're gone, someone responsible has to be there for him. You're his family." The word responsible landed somewhere specific. I looked at her for a long moment. Then I said, "No." Her face shifted. "You can't just turn your back on your cousin." "I've never had a cousin," I said evenly. "I had 2 grandparents who took in a child and slowly forgot they already had one." "That's not fair," she said, and her voice cracked. "Reece had trauma. He needed more from us." "I know," I said, "and I had a grandmother who told me that was a compliment." She started to say something about family obligation. I stood up, shook her hand the way my grandfather had shaken mine after 4 years of honor roll, and walked her to the lobby. She called 19 times. I let it go to voicemail. My grandfather emailed saying I was breaking her heart. I read it once and archived it. Last month my aunt called to tell me they were selling the house. Couldn't sustain the costs anymore. Reece was upset about having to find real employment. My aunt thought I should step in. "They're your family," she said. "They made a choice," I said. "Every single day for 16 years. I'm just honoring it." I sent one final message before I went fully quiet. I told them I'd built a life they knew nothing about because they never thought to ask. I told them Reece could carry what they built together since he'd been the center of it. I told them I wished them well and meant it, which was more than they'd probably expected. Then I blocked every line. My partner asked if I felt anything when I did it. I felt the specific quiet of a decision that has been made for a very long time finally being written down. They raised me to be capable and self-sufficient and asked nothing of me in return. I gave them exactly that.